Here I have an Asus ProArt monitor, model PA329C. My brother said it wouldn't turn on, and sure enough, pressing the power button does nothing. Let's take it apart and see what's wrong. First, remove the stand. There are 4 rubber plugs covering the screws. Remove those screws. Press the plastic release button, then lift from the bottom and slide the stand down. Straightforward so far. The only visible screws are the ones for the stand. The rest of the back cover is held by hidden tabs around the edges, and it turns out 3 hidden screws at the bottom. To open it, slide a thin plastic spudger between the front bezel and the back cover. You can feel the tabs as you go. Work your way around the top and both sides, gently prying until it starts to separate. The side with the USB ports was especially tight, but it uses the same tab system. The bottom is held in place with 3 screws. I just had to find them. I removed the plastic trim thinking it was hiding something. It wasn't. But it wasn't until I removed it that I noticed the 3 plastic pieces that looked out of place. They are just thin plastic with adhesive on the back. And there they were, a small screw under each one. Once those are out, the back cover can be lifted. Be careful, there's a flat flex cable for the button panel taped securely to both the back cover and the chassis. I removed the button panel to make things easier. It's held in with 3 tiny Phillips screws and a piece of tape. This 32-inch monitor is just too big for my workbench, so every bit of space helps. What surprised me is there are no screws holding the metal chassis to the screen panel, just very strong, sticky tape. The wiring harnesses are held down with the same tape. I removed some of it to free things up. Lift the chassis carefully because the flat flex cable connected to the screen panel is very short. This cable uses a special connector with clips on both sides that must be pressed to release it. I disconnected all the backlight connectors so I could set the screen panel aside. At this point, I suspected a power supply problem. AC power enters the first board here. All the parts are labeled in the 600 series. So I started with the main input fuse, F601. The fuse is good, which means we probably don't have a dead short on the AC side. Only one connector leaves that board. Looks like it's dedicated to noise filtering. Power is passing through fine. Next is the main power supply board. I don't see any voltage test points anywhere on the backside. 2 screws hold the board in place. There are thermal pads transferring heat from the heat sinks and transformers to the chassis. A nice touch, but that makes the board a little hard to remove. Unfortunately, no voltage markings anywhere. The output connector has a lot of connections, but it looks like only a single output supply. I reinstalled the ground screw and powered it up. I saw a tiny flash when I flipped the switch, so maybe an LED indicator. The meter on the output shows it bouncing between 0 and 0.2 volts. That usually means the supply is shutting down for some reason. Checking resistance across the main output. No direct short. That's probably going to mean that I have a short in one of the secondary supplies. The power cable from the supply goes to the main board, so I need to remove it. The main board has 3 connectors at this end. The FFC connector has a clip that needs to be lifted to remove the cable, plus 1 small Phillips screw near the display port, and a compressed ground contact that needs to be pressed to help release the board. Oh, I forgot about the FFC to the button board. The FFC is stuck really well to the chassis, so I'll remove the cable from its connector on the main board. It just pulls out a friction fit connection. Well, maybe I got lucky. That flash I saw earlier wasn't an LED. It was one or both of these capacitors arcing. There are 3 220 microfarad through-hole capacitors and 3 SMD caps in parallel. I removed the two electrolytic caps near the damaged area to protect them from heat. I'm removing both large SMD caps. Maybe the non-cracked one is still okay and I can get a value from it. Wow, it's like part of the capacitor terminal has welded itself to the PCB pad. Both SMD caps were shorted. One had a very low resistance, the other was a dead short. The electrolytics across them are rated 35 volts, so this could be the backlight supply. It looks like the PCB pads are intact, just part of the capacitors are bonded to the pad. That tan look on the pad is not the board or copper, that is part of the capacitor material. I'm going to slowly scrape away what I can, trying not to damage the pad. That bit of powder on the end of the screwdriver is not board material, it's from what was left of the capacitor terminal. It's getting better, but still not down to the pad yet. Okay, I think that will do. The pad is still rough, but I think it's part of the capacitor's metal terminal that is welded to it. I'll clean it and apply fresh solder, then remove the solder and clean it again. See how much of the capacitor terminal I can get to come off. The failed capacitors are C351 and C352, maybe 1210 size MLCCs. The largest 50 volt SMD caps I have on hand were 1206 TDK 10 microfarad units. I can install 4 of them across the pads, so I'm going to try that. I would think 4 of them would have better heat dissipation than the two 1210 caps. I've put down some solder paste. I do want to keep the end one of the 4 off the very small C350. I did get the C351 pad pretty smooth. It still has a tiny bit of the capacitor terminal that just wouldn't let go. I've got the hot air at 8% volume and 800 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll clean up any little solder balls where they shouldn't be and add a bit more solder to the capacitor terminals. I reinstalled the electrolytic capacitors, then I will reinstall all the boards. The main power supply output settled at a little over 20 volts, but I don't have the screen or backlights connected. I'm removing the screen FFC from the screen connector. It has a large piece of tape on it, but it looks too difficult to plug the connector into the main board with it connected to the screen. Now it easily plugs right into the connector on the main board. I'll put all the screws in and connect the rest of the connectors. The main power output is now working, but I won't know if the 40 microfarad is enough till I get it all connected and see if I get a picture. The USB and speaker connect to the main board under this bit of metallized paper. I'll just tape it back in place with some Kapton tape. The backlights connect here. There are 2 plugs, each a different size. I'll put all the wires back under their tape. And before I forget, I'll plug in the FFC for the button panel. I wish I had some of this sticky fiber tape. It's tough stuff. But I'll just use some Kapton tape to hold the chassis in place. It really seems to be there just to hold it till the back cover gets put in place. Before closing it up, let me power it on. And there's the Asus logo. Display looks perfect. After reinstalling the button board, I'll double check that I have the chassis properly aligned. The threaded holes line up with the holes in the back cover, so that's the correct position. Then it's just snapping the edges back together. I reinstalled the 3 bottom screws. I skipped the little plastic covers over them. Not sure what Asus was thinking there. I also added fresh double-sided tape to the plastic trim I mistakenly removed earlier. The stand hooks in at the top and snaps into the plastic ears at the bottom. Tighten the screws and reinstall the rubber plugs. Power on, and it works. Nice, even backlight. And the menu responds as it should. My brother has been using the monitor for a few weeks and says it's back to normal. The 40 microfarad replacement seems to be holding up fine. I can't believe I forgot to measure and note the voltage on the supply with the shorted caps. I'll make a checklist for the next repair video. There's just too much stuff to do and not enough time to do it. If you have a dead PA329C or similar ProArt monitor, I hope this helps you out. Thank you for watching.